Han Sung rubbed his tired eyes. Night shift at the Mars Backup Communications Center was always quiet. Too quiet. The main research base had gone dark 12 hours ago, and his small hidden facility was now the only human presence on the red planet. He adjusted his headset and froze. A sound was coming through. Faint, but there. "This is Dr. Lee from the main base," a weak voice said. "They're not here to talk. They're scanning something deep in the ground. Don't try to." The transmission cut off. Han's hands shook as he activated the emergency protocol. Earth needed to know. Admiral Jinwoo stood on the bridge of the UES Defender, Earth's largest space vessel. Outside the viewports, dozens of military ships gathered in Earth orbit. "Message from command, sir," his assistant said. "The Mars backup facility just sent its final transmission. They're gone too." Jinwoo nodded grimly. "And the aliens? They've started drilling operations on Mars. Deep scans show they're extracting something from the core. What about the object heading for Earth?" "Still approaching, sir. ETA 6 hours." Jinwoo turned to face the gathered officers. "Prepare all weapons. Today we defend our home." In the Pentagon War Room, Tae-ho watched as Jia presented her findings to the Emergency Council. "The aliens call themselves the Voidbringers, based on the signal patterns we've decoded," she said. "They're not interested in communication. The Mars base was just in their way." "In the way of what?" President Lee asked. "We believe they're after a rare element found in planetary cores," Tae-ho said. "Mars was just practice. Earth is their real target." The room erupted in shouting until General Park slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. What options do we have?" Tae-ho stepped forward. "Our orbital defense network is our best chance. Admiral Jinwoo has positioned our space fleet to support it." The screen suddenly lit up with warnings. Satellite images showed multiple new objects appearing near Earth's moon. "What's happening?" President Lee demanded. A young officer looked up from his computer, face pale. "Ma'am, they're coming through some kind of hole in space. Dozens of ships. No, hundreds." Jinwoo watched as the space before him tore open. It looked like someone had taken a knife to the fabric of reality itself. Through the tear came the alien ships, sleek, dark vessels that moved like sharks through water. "All vessels, battle positions," he ordered. "Weapon systems online." The first alien ship fired. A beam of blue light shot across space and hit one of Earth's smaller vessels. It didn't explode. It simply came apart, as if every molecular bond had been severed at once. "Return fire," Jinwoo shouted. Earth's ships launched missiles and energy weapons. Most missed as the alien vessels moved with impossible speed. The few that hit seemed to do little damage. Jinwoo gripped the command rail. "Activate the orbital platforms." Authorization code. Earthfall. Around the planet, hidden defense satellites emerged from stealth mode. They had been humanity's best-kept secret. Kinetic weapons platforms designed to defeat any Earth-based threat. Now they would face something far beyond their designer's imagination. The platforms fired in perfect unison. Streaks of light cut across space. 3 alien ships shattered. A cheer went up on the bridge. It didn't last long. The alien fleet regrouped and focused their fire on the platforms. One by one, they began to wink out. "Sir," Jinwoo's second-in-command said quietly. "They're breaking through." Jinwoo watched as the first alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere. "Send the message to all ground forces. The enemy is coming." Tae-ho and Jia rushed from the Pentagon to a waiting helicopter. Around them, the sky was filling with lights. Alien ships descending. "Where are we going?" Jia shouted over the rotor noise. "Cheyenne Mountain," Tae-ho replied. "The backup command center. We need to coordinate the ground defense." As the helicopter lifted off, they saw the first explosion bloom over Washington, D.C. "It started," Jia whispered. Tae-ho nodded grimly. Now we find out if humanity deserves to survive. Rain poured down as Dahyun led his team through the ruins of London. The shield generators on their backs were heavy, but no one complained. Everyone knew what was at stake. 2 minutes to target, Minji whispered over the radio. She was positioned on a broken tower with a clear view of the landing site. The Harbinger ship sat in what was once Trafalgar Square. It was smaller than the main vessels but still impressive, shaped like a smooth teardrop with no visible engines or weapons. All teams report, Dahyun ordered quietly. Team East in position. Team West ready. Team North standing by. Dahyun looked at the 6 fighters with him. Remember, we need this ship intact. Aim for their suits, not the ship itself. The rain helped hide them as they moved closer. At 50 meters, they could see the Harbingers moving around their ship. 3 of the 4 armed aliens were outside, checking equipment. Now, Dahyun commanded. All 4 teams activated their shields simultaneously. Domes of shimmering energy surrounded each group as they broke cover and charged. The Harbingers reacted quickly. Blue beams fired from weapons on their suits, but the shields held. The aliens retreated toward their ship. Don't let them inside, Minji shouted from her position. Team East reached the ship first. A fighter threw a small device that Subin had designed. It hit the ship's hull and stuck there, releasing a pulse that temporarily disabled the door systems. The Harbingers were trapped outside. Dahyun's team engaged the nearest alien. Their weapons, ordinary guns loaded with special oxygen-rich bullets, fired in unison. The first shots bounced off the alien's suit, but the third hit a joint in the armor. Oxygen rushed in. The Harbinger fell, making strange flashing lights from a device on its chest. They're calling for help, Minji warned. We have 5 minutes at most. The other teams took down the remaining aliens, but not without cost. 3 fighters lay motionless on the ground. Dahyun ran to the ship. Subin had taught them how to override the door using the captured alien's information. His fingers worked quickly on the control panel. The door slid open. Team Alpha with me, he ordered. Everyone else, defensive positions. Inside, the ship was strangely beautiful. Smooth curves and pulsing lights lined the walls. They moved quickly to the control room. Start the sequence, Dahyun said to his tech specialist. The woman nodded and placed a device on what they believed was the main console. Lights blinked as it connected. Uploading Subin's program now, she reported. Outside, the sound of energy weapons grew louder. Reinforcements are here. Minji's voice crackled over the radio. We can't hold them long. Program at 60%, the tech specialist said, her voice tense. Dahyun looked at the screens around them. Strange symbols flashed. What's happening? The ship is fighting the program. 75%, 80%. An explosion rocked the ship. Team West's shield had failed. 85%, 90%. Another explosion. Closer now. Done, the specialist shouted. We have control. Dahyun grabbed the radio. All teams, fall back to the ship. Move. Fighters rushed toward the open door as Harbinger reinforcements closed in. Energy beams cut through the rain. Not everyone made it. Minji was the last to enter, diving through the door as it closed behind her. Blood soaked her left side. How many? Dahyun asked, helping her up. Half, she said grimly. We lost half. The tech specialist worked the newly translated controls. The ship is responding. Lift off in 10 seconds. The vessel hummed to life. Through the viewports, they could see Harbingers surrounding them, weapons firing uselessly now against the ship's own shields. Sending the signal to Cheyenne Mountain, the specialist said. They know we succeeded. The ship rose into the air. Below them, London's ruins grew smaller. Setting course as planned, the specialist continued. ETA to rendezvous point. 3 hours. Minji winced as someone bandaged her wound. Did we get everything we needed? Dahyun nodded, looking at the data streaming across the screens. Navigation systems, wormhole technology, weapons controls. It's all here. Then the first part of Operation Phoenix is complete, Minji said quietly. Da-hyun looked around at the survivors, their faces showing both grief and determination. Yes, he said. Now comes the hard part. The room fell silent as the radar image appeared on the large screen. The object was moving fast, too fast for any human craft, and it was heading straight for Earth. How long until it reaches us? President Lee asked, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. General Park looked at his tablet. 3 days, Madam President. Major Tae-ho Kim stood quietly in the corner of the emergency meeting room. He had been pulled from field training just hours ago. Now he watched as world leaders argued through video screens that covered the wall. We should strike first, said the Russian president. With what? We don't even know what we're facing, replied the British Prime Minister. Tae-ho studied the object's path. Something wasn't right. Its movements were too perfect. No natural object moved like that. The door opened and a woman hurried in. Her lab coat was wrinkled, and her short black hair was messy as if she hadn't slept. Professor Ja Park, General Park announced. Our top xenobiologist. Jia nodded quickly and connected her tablet to the main screen. I've analyzed the signal patterns coming from the object. They're not random. The room grew even quieter. You mean? President Lee started. Yes, Jia said. It's sending data back somewhere. This isn't just a space rock. It's a scout. Tae-ho stepped forward. A scout means there are more coming. Jia nodded at him. Exactly, Major. President Lee stood up. We need to try communication. Show them we're peaceful. With respect, Madam President, Tae-ho said, we should prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. General Park looked at Tae-ho with approval. The Major is right. Major Kim led the defense strategy in the Taiwan crisis. He knows how to prepare for unknown threats. Very well, President Lee said. Major Kim, work with Professor Park. I want defense options and communication plans by tomorrow. Later that night, Tae-ho and Jia sat in a small lab, surrounded by screens showing the alien object. It's slowing down, Jia said, pointing to the data, taking up orbit around Mars. Why Mars and not Earth? Tae-ho wondered. Maybe it's cautious. Maybe it's waiting for something. Jia pushed a cup of coffee toward him. What do you think they want? Tae-ho took the cup. In human history, explorers rarely come with good intentions for the natives. That's dark, Jia said. It's realistic. How's the communication team doing? Jia sighed. We've sent mathematical sequences, radio signals, light patterns. Nothing. An alarm sounded. One of the screens flashed red. What's that? Tae-ho asked, standing up. Jia's fingers flew over her keyboard. The object is changing shape, and it's releasing smaller objects. They watched as the alien craft opened like a flower, releasing dozens of smaller craft that formed a perfect formation. It's beautiful, Jia whispered. So is a tiger, until it eats you, Tae-ho replied. The smaller craft began to move, not toward Earth, but toward the small research base on Mars. Call the president, Tae-ho ordered. Now. Jia reached for the secure phone, but stopped when a message appeared on her screen. It was from the Mars base. They're sending us something, she said. The message was simple. Unknown craft approaching. Attempting communication. Then the video feed from Mars came online. They watched as the base's external cameras showed the small alien craft landing near the research station. A door on the craft opened. They're making contact, Jia said, her voice filled with wonder. Tae-ho leaned closer to the screen. Something's wrong. Where are the base personnel? They should be visible by now. The alien emerged from its craft, tall with limbs that moved too smoothly to be natural. It raised what looked like an arm toward the camera. The screen went white, then black. All communications with the Mars base went silent. Get the president, Tae-ho said quietly. Tell her it started. Su Bin Lee checked the connections on her shield prototype one last time. Today was the big test, and the timing couldn't be worse. From her lab window in Seoul, she could see people running in the streets. News of the alien ships had spread fast. "Are you sure we should still do this?" her assistant asked. Su Bin nodded. "If my shield works, it might save lives." The ground shook. Su Bin ran to the window. In the distance, dark shapes filled the sky above downtown Seoul. As she watched, blue beams shot down from the alien ships. Buildings crumbled like sandcastles. "Get the shield unit. We need to go now," Su Bin shouted. Her assistant grabbed the backpack-sized device as the lab's emergency lights flashed on. Together, they ran for the stairs. Outside, the air was filled with dust and screams. Su Bin saw a group of school children huddled behind a fallen wall, their teacher trying to comfort them. "This way," Su Bin called to them. "Follow me." As the group ran, a shadow passed overhead. Su Bin looked up to see an alien ship directly above them. A blue light began to glow at its center. "Everyone, close together," Su Bin ordered. She activated the shield unit. Nothing happened. The blue light grew brighter. Su Bin hit the power switch again, panic rising in her chest. "Come on, work." Just as the alien weapon fired, a dome of shimmering energy surrounded the group. The blue beam hit the shield and split around it like water around a rock. The ground outside the dome turned to dust, but inside, they remained safe. The children stared in wonder at the shield. Su Bin checked the power levels. The unit was draining fast, but it had worked. "We need to find shelter before the power runs out," she said. In Cheyenne Mountain, Tahoe and Jia watched in horror as screens showed cities falling worldwide. New York, London, Beijing, all under attack. "Our missiles aren't effective against their hulls," General Park reported, "and they're targeting our nuclear silos first." President Lee's face appeared on the main screen. Transmission breaking up. "The UN building is gone. Most world leaders with it. I'm activating Emergency Protocol 7. All nations now operate under unified command." "What about Operation Last Light?" Tahoe asked. General Park hesitated. "The orbital platforms are at 40% capacity. Admiral Jinwoo is still engaging the enemy fleet, but he's losing ships fast." "Sir," a young officer interrupted, "we have a transmission from Seoul. Someone has developed a working defense against the alien weapons." Jia looked up sharply. "Put it through." The screen showed a shaky video of a shield dome protecting a small group of people as buildings around them dissolved. "That's Su Bin Lee," Jia said, recognition in her voice. "She was my student. She's been working on energy deflection technology." "Can we reproduce it?" Tahoe asked. "If we can get her and her research out of Seoul, maybe," Jia replied. General Park nodded. "I'll send a special forces team." In space, Admiral Jinwoo's fleet was dying. The UES Defender, once Earth's pride, now drifted with major damage. Only 7 Earth ships remained operational out of 50. "Sir, the orbital platforms are down to 25%, his second-in-command reported. Jinwoo looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet had broken into smaller groups, descending to attack major cities. But their main ship, a massive craft 10 times larger than the rest, remained in high orbit. "What is that one waiting for?" Jinwoo wondered aloud. The answer came as the massive ship moved into position directly above the North Pole. It extended what looked like a giant drill. "Sir," his sensor officer called out, "they're generating some kind of energy beam. It's penetrating through the planet's crust." Jinwoo watched as the beam shot downward. On the planet below, the ice caps began to crack. "They're going for the core," Jinwoo realized, just like on Mars. He made his decision. "All remaining ships, form up. We're attacking the mothership." "Sir, that's suicide," his second-in-command protested. Jinwoo looked at the Earth below his home, now burning in 100 places. Maybe, he said quietly, but humanity doesn't surrender. The alien prisoner sat motionless in its cell. The special room had higher oxygen levels than normal Earth air. Not enough to kill, but enough to weaken. Its breathing mask had been damaged in the capture, forcing it to use an emergency backup system. Min-ji watched through the thick glass. Her team had succeeded in the seemingly impossible task, capturing a harbinger alive. It had cost 3 good fighters their lives. Is it going to talk? Da-hyun asked, standing beside her. Professor Park's light translator is ready, Min-ji replied. Now we wait. Soo-bin entered with a small device. This should work. It converts our words to their light language and back. She placed the translator on a table facing the alien and turned it on. A panel lit up with patterns of colored light. The alien moved for the first time, its large black eyes focusing on the lights. It's responding, Soo-bin whispered. More light patterns flickered across the translator. Words appeared on the small screen. Why keep me alive? You are food species. Da-hyun leaned toward the microphone. We are not food. We are the owners of this planet. Why are you destroying our world? The translator flickered. The alien made a motion with its 4 arms. Your world is resource. You are in the way. Simple. Min-ji stepped forward. How many worlds have you taken before? 12 complete. You are 13. Soo-bin felt cold at the casual way it described destroying civilizations. What do you call yourselves? She asked. We are harbingers of void. We bring emptiness where there was something. It is our purpose. Da-hyun's face hardened. What happens when you take all of our core material? Planet breaks. Not our concern. We move to next. Tai-ho studied the reports from Min-ji's team. The information from the captured harbinger matched what they had learned from studying the dead alien. They're like cosmic locusts, Jia said. They consume planets and move on. No remorse, no negotiation. General Park pointed to the world map. Their drilling has reached 60% completion. Earth's magnetic field is starting to fail. Radiation levels are rising. And our plan? Tai-ho asked. We've located a smaller harbinger ship that lands regularly near what used to be London. Soo-bin's team has developed a larger shield that might let us get close enough. Jia looked troubled. Even if we capture a ship, my translation work shows their navigation systems are biologically locked to harbinger pilots. Tai-ho nodded. That's why we need the prisoner to cooperate. Cooperate? General Park looked skeptical. Why would it help us? Because, Tai-ho said, we're going to offer it something it wants. Min-ji entered the alien cell area again, this time with a small container. The harbinger watched her with its strange eyes. We have a deal to offer you, she said through the translator. The alien made no response. We know your people collect the core material. We have some you haven't found yet. She opened the container, showing a glowing blue crystal. The harbinger moved closer to the glass. Impossible. Our scans find all deposits. Min-ji smiled. Not those hidden by our technology. Help us, and this is yours. The translator flickered rapidly as the alien responded. What help? Teach us to fly your ships. Show us how to use the wormhole technology. The alien was still for a long time. Then it reached out one long arm toward the glass. Show more crystal, then deal. Soo-bin worked frantically in the underground lab. Around her, people assembled the new larger shield units. Each one took tremendous power, but they only needed to work long enough to capture the ship. Da-hyun entered, his face grim. It's time. The target ship lands in 6 hours. Soo-bin nodded. The shields are ready, but there's something else you should know. She handed him a tablet showing Earth's core readings. The planet is becoming unstable faster than we thought. We have weeks, not months. Da-hyun studied the data. Does Tai-ho know? Yes. That's why we can't wait any longer. Outside, the strike team was preparing. 20 of their best fighters, armed with weapons that might penetrate Harbinger suits. If they succeeded, humanity had a chance. If they failed, Minji joined them, checking her equipment. The alien gave us what we needed. It thinks we're desperate enough to trade. Aren't we? Subin asked. Minji smiled grimly. Yes, but not the way it thinks. The wormhole journey lasted only minutes, but to Taiho it felt like hours. Colors and shapes bent around their ship in ways that hurt his eyes. Then suddenly, they were through. We made it, Jia whispered, looking at the display. Before them hung a massive blue-green world. Unlike Earth, it had 2 small moons and rings of debris. Hundreds of Harbinger ships moved in perfect patterns around the planet. Their home world, Minji said in awe, just as the navigation data showed. Taiho checked their systems. Ship is stable. They haven't detected us yet. The wormhole network. Jia pointed to the screen showing multiple energy signatures. There are 7 active wormholes connecting to this system. 7 worlds they're destroying simultaneously, Minji said, anger in her voice. Taiho studied the tactical display. We need to get closer to the central hub. He pointed to a massive space station where all the wormhole energies seemed to connect. That's where we plant the device. As they moved closer, alarms blared. They'd spotted us, Minji reported. Multiple ships changing course to intercept. How long until we're in position? Jia asked, her hands hovering over the antimatter controls. 2 minutes, Taiho replied, pushing the engines to maximum. Minji, can you buy us time? Minji smiled grimly. Watch me. Her hands flew across the weapons panel. Energy beams shot from their ship, striking the nearest Harbinger vessel. It exploded in a flash of blue light. They didn't expect us to know how to use their weapons, she said. More Harbinger ships closed in. Minji fired again and again, creating a path forward. 1 minute to position, Taiho announced. The ship shook as enemy fire broke through their shields. Warning lights flashed across the control panels. Hull breach in Section 4, Jia reported. Sealing now. Minji cried out as her console exploded in sparks. She fell back, her arm badly burned. Stay on course, she shouted to Taiho through gritted teeth. Taiho pushed forward. The central hub grew larger in their view screen. 30 seconds. More hits rocked the ship. Systems failed across the board. Engines at 20%, Jia called out. We're losing power. We'll make it, Taiho promised, hands steady on the controls. On Earth, Admiral Jinwu stood on a hill overlooking what had once been Shanghai. His forces fought bravely below, drawing Harbinger attention away from the wormhole mission. The ground shook violently. Great cracks appeared, swallowing buildings and aliens alike. The planet was breaking apart faster now. Jinwu's communication officer ran to him. Sir, we're getting reports worldwide. The ground is giving way near all major extraction sites. Jinwu nodded calmly. Earth is fighting back in her own way. He raised his hand, signaling the final phase. All units, advance. No retreat. The remaining human forces surged forward, shield generators blazing as they attacked the surprised Harbingers. We're in position, Taiho announced. Their damaged ship drifted toward the central hub, now only kilometers away. Jia activated the antimatter device. Device armed. 10 minutes until detonation. That's our cue to leave, Minji said weakly from her damaged station. They looked at each other. No one moved toward the escape pod. We always knew this was one way, Taiho said quietly. Jia nodded. Let's make sure it works. Minji pulled herself back to her station. More ships incoming. I'll keep them busy as long as I can. Taiho took over navigation manually. I'm taking us inside the hub itself. The antimatter reaction will be more effective there. The ship limped forward, trailing debris and venting atmosphere. Harbinger vessels surrounded them, but seemed hesitant to fire as they approached the hub. They're afraid of damaging their precious wormhole controls, Jia realized. With a final burst from the engines, Taeho drove the ship directly into the central docking bay of the hub. Metal screamed against metal as they crashed through barriers. 5 minutes to detonation, Jia reported. Min-jae looked at her screens. They're evacuating the hub. They know something's wrong. Too late, Taeho said. He pulled the small Earth flag from his pocket and placed it on the control panel. For Earth. For humanity, Jia added. Min-jae smiled through her pain. For those who follow us. 6 months had passed since the first attack. Earth was a different place now. Cities lay in ruins. The alien ships had settled over key points around the globe, drilling deep into the Earth. Billions were dead, but humans still fought on. Su-bin wiped sweat from her forehead as she worked. Her underground lab was hot and cramped, but it was safe. Around her, 20 people assembled shield units using parts salvaged from alien wreckage. "How many can we make this week?" asked Dahyun, the gray-haired man who had once been a soldier before becoming leader of their resistance cell. 10, maybe 12 if we're lucky, Su-bin answered. The power cores are the hardest to find. Dahyun nodded. That's 10 more groups that can fight back. He looked at the crude map on the wall. Red dots showed working resistance bases. There weren't many. Any word from Cheyenne Mountain? Su-bin asked. Their last transmission said Taeho and Professor Park made a discovery about the aliens. They're sending someone to tell us in person. Too risky to use radio now. A young lookout rushed in. Someone's coming. One person, using our signal code. Dahyun grabbed his gun. Be ready, just in case. The visitor was a thin woman in dirty clothes. She showed them a badge with the eagle symbol of the Unified Command. I'm Min-jae from Central Command, she said. I have news from Major Kim and Professor Park. They gathered around as Min-jae spread out papers on the table. The aliens are called the Harbingers of Void. They're mining a rare element from Earth's core. They don't care about humans at all. We're just in their way. Why do they want this element? Su-bin asked. It powers their ships and weapons. They've done this to 12 other planets before ours. Min-jae pointed to a diagram. But here's the important part. They can't breathe our air. The oxygen is poison to them. They stay in their suits when outside their ships. Dahyun leaned forward. That's a weakness we can use. Min-jae nodded. Major Kim thinks so too. He has a plan. But first, we need to capture one alive. In what remained of the Pentagon's underground levels, Taeho studied the alien body on the table. It had taken 3 months and many lives to get one. The suit is the key, Jia said. Once we damaged it, the air killed it in minutes. The alien was tall and thin with 4 arms and gray skin. Its eyes were large and black. What about communication? Taeho asked. Any progress? Jia nodded. Their language is based on light patterns, not sound. We've built the basic translator. General Park entered the room. One of his arms was now a metal prosthetic, a reminder of a battle lost months ago. Admiral Jinwoo's last attack damaged the mothership, he reported. It's withdrawn to high orbit for repairs. That gives us time. Time for what? Jia asked. To try Major Kim's plan, General Park said. It's crazy, but it's all we have left. Taeho looked at the maps showing the alien drilling sites. They've already taken 40% of the core material. Earth has started to become unstable. Earthquakes are increasing. How long do we have? General Park asked. 2 months, maybe less, Jia answered. Then the planet becomes uninhabitable. General Park's face hardened. Then we don't have a choice. We need to capture an alien ship and use their own technology against them. The resistance cells have been testing Su-bin's shields, Taeho said. They work against alien weapons. If we can produce enough. Do it, General Park ordered. And contact all remaining resistance cells. Tell them Operation Phoenix is starting. Su Bin watched as Da Hyun trained new fighters. Many were just teenagers, but all had lost family to the aliens. They learned quickly. "You think this plan will work?" Su Bin asked Minji. "Honestly, no, but what choice do we have?" The ground shook. These tremors were happening more often now. "Earth is dying," Su Bin said quietly. Minji nodded. "Yes, but humans aren't finished yet." Across the room, Da Hyun finished the training session. He pointed to a model of an alien ship. "Remember their weakness," he told the fighters. "Remember what they took from you. In 2 weeks, we strike back." Su Bin felt something she hadn't felt in months. Hope. "Maybe we can't save Earth," she thought, "but we can make sure its last breath is a war cry." Dawn broke with strange colors in the sky. The failing magnetic field let more radiation through, creating beautiful but deadly light shows. The modified Harbinger ship sat ready on the landing pad, its smooth hull now marked with hastily painted human symbols. Inside the command bunker, Tai-ho made his final preparations. He studied Earth's vital signs on the main screen. Core stability at 12%, magnetic field at 9%. The numbers told a clear story. Their home was dying. "Final checks complete," Su Bin reported as she entered. "The antimatter device is stable and connected to the wormhole generator." "And the trigger?" Tai-ho asked. "Simple enough that even I could use it," Jia said, joining them. She wore a flight suit with Earth's unified command patch. One button. No going back. General Park entered with Admiral Jinwoo. "It's time for the briefing." On the main screen, they could see resistance groups around the world. The last organized human forces. Some were in bunkers, others in caves or hidden bases. All looked tired but determined. "Today we launch Operation Phoenix," General Park began. "Our final strike against the Harbingers. Major Kim will lead the strike team to the enemy's homeworld using their own wormhole technology. Meanwhile, Admiral Jinwoo will command our remaining forces in a coordinated attack on their extraction sites. We can't stop their mining," Jinwoo continued. "But we can slow them down and keep their attention here while the strike team completes the mission." Someone from the Moscow bunker spoke up. "What happens after? If you succeed?" A heavy silence fell. Everyone knew Earth was beyond saving. Su Bin stepped forward. "I have something to show you." She brought up a new image on the screen. "For the past month, we've been preparing this." The image showed a small fleet of ships hidden in asteroids beyond Mars. "Colony ships," she explained, "built from modified Harbinger technology. They carry 10,000 survivors and enough supplies to reach the nearest habitable system." Gasps and murmurs filled the communications channel. "Why weren't we told?" someone demanded. "Because the Harbingers might have detected the transmissions," Da Hyun explained. "Only those working directly on the project knew." Tai-ho looked at Su Bin with new respect. "You've been busy." "The ships are protected by my shield technology," she said. "Once Operation Phoenix succeeds, they'll leave the system." General Park nodded. "That's our true mission. Not just revenge, but survival." 3 hours later, Tai-ho, Jia, and Minji stood at the entrance to the captured ship. Su Bin and Da Hyun faced them. "The navigation is set," Su Bin said. "It will take you directly to their home system." "What will you do?" Tai-ho asked her. "I'm joining the colony ships," she replied. "Someone needs to maintain the shield generators." Da Hyun handed Tai-ho a small Earth flag. "Take this with you. Let them see what they tried to destroy." The final goodbyes were brief. No one had words for this moment. Inside the ship, the three took their positions. Tai-ho at navigation, Jia monitoring the antimatter device, Minji at weapons. "Systems online," Tai-ho reported. "Launching in 3, 2, 1. The ship rose smoothly into the air. Below them, the bunker grew smaller, then disappeared as they climbed through the clouds. "Setting course for jump point," Tai-ho said. The ship accelerated, pushing them back in their seats. Earth fell away behind them. A once blue jewel now scared and dim. Jump point in 1 minute, Taiho announced. Minji checked her monitors. Multiple Harbinger ships detected. They're pursuing. They know what we're doing, Jia said. Too late to stop us, Taiho responded, pushing the ship faster. Earth's atmosphere was burning in places now, great rips appearing in the ozone layer. From space, they could see the massive extraction operations, huge drills penetrating deep into the planet. Activating wormhole generator, Taiho said. 15 seconds. Minji looked at her home one last time. Earth, she whispered, we won't fail you. The space before them twisted and warped. A tunnel of light opened. Incoming fire, Minji warned, as energy beams from the pursuing Harbinger ships flashed past them. Hang on. Taiho pushed the ship forward. They plunged into the wormhole. Behind them, Admiral Jin Woo led Earth's last defense forces into battle. Resistance fighters worldwide launched simultaneous attacks on Harbinger operations. Shield generators protected them from the aliens' weapons, if only temporarily. In space, the colony ships quietly powered up, preparing to carry humanity's survivors to safety once the wormhole network was destroyed. And Earth, wounded and dying, continued its final rotation around the sun as its children fought to ensure its death would not be in vain. The captured Harbinger ship landed in a hidden valley in what was once Colorado. Taiho watched from the command bunker as medical teams rushed to help the wounded fighters exiting the vessel. They did it, Jia said beside him, her voice filled with disbelief. They actually captured a functioning ship. Taiho nodded. At great cost. He had seen the initial reports. Half the strike team was gone, including some of their best people. Dahyun emerged from the ship, helping a badly wounded Minji. Taiho hurried to meet them. Report, he said as medics took Minji. Mission successful, Dahyun said, his face haggard with exhaustion. The ship's systems are intact. We downloaded all navigation data as planned. Taiho clasped the older man's shoulder. You've given us our only chance. Inside the bunker, Subin was already examining the data from the ship. Her fingers flew across screens as she pieced together how the alien technology worked. The wormhole generator is the key, she explained when Taiho joined her. It's how they travel between star systems so quickly. Can we use it? Subin nodded. Yes, but there's a problem. It needs an enormous amount of power to open a stable wormhole, more than we can generate. Unless, Taiho began, unless we use the antimatter device, Subin finished, which means no return trip. Taiho was silent for a moment. Everyone knew Operation Phoenix was a one-way mission. Still, hearing it confirmed made it real. How long to adapt the ship, he asked. 3 days, maybe less with enough help. The door opened, and General Park entered with Admiral Jinwoo. The Admiral looked different from when Taiho had last seen him. His once proud uniform was tattered, and a long scar ran across his face. The mothership is moving again, Jinwoo reported without greeting. Their core extraction has accelerated. Earth now has less than 10 days. Jia joined them, her face grim. The magnetic field is falling apart faster than expected. Surface radiation levels will be deadly within 2 weeks. Then we stick to the plan, General Park said. Admiral, your submarine base still has the prototype. Jinwoo nodded. The antimatter device is intact. We can deliver it tomorrow. What about the location? Taiho asked. Did the navigation data show us their home world? Subin pointed to a star map on her screen. We believe it's this system. Their wormhole network connects to 7 different planets they've harvested, all leading back to this central point. Taiho studied the map. Their entire civilization could be there. Yes, Subin said quietly. Their entire civilization. Minji woke in the medical bay. Her side burned with pain where the alien weapon had struck her. Dahyun sat beside her bed. Did everyone make it back? She asked. Da-hyun shook his head. We lost 12, including Kang and Yuna. Min-ji closed her eyes. Kang had been just 19. Yuna, a mother of 2 who had somehow kept her children safe through the invasion. Was it worth it? She whispered. We'll make it worth it, Da-hyun answered, his voice hard. The antimatter device arrives tomorrow. Then we finish this. Min-ji tried to sit up. I'm going on the final mission. You're injured. I'm going, she repeated firmly. I owe it to those we lost. Work on the ship continued day and night. Su-bin led the modifications, adding human controls and installing the antimatter device in the ship's core. Tai-ho oversaw the mission planning. The crew would be small, just enough to navigate the ship to the Harbinger homeworld, activate the device, and trigger the chain reaction that would collapse their entire wormhole network. Who's flying the ship? Jia asked during the final briefing. I am, Tai-ho replied. Along with you, if you're willing. We need someone who understands their technology. Jia didn't hesitate. I'm in. Min-ji has also volunteered, Da-hyun said. Despite her injuries, she's the best at the weapon systems. General Park studied the mission outline. The plan is sound, but we all know the chances of success are slim, and there's no coming back. Admiral Jinwoo, who had been silent, finally spoke. While you take the fight to their world, I'll lead what's left of our forces against their extraction operations here. We can't stop them, but we can give you time. Tai-ho nodded. One day. That's all we need to reach their system and detonate the device. The ground shook violently, throwing items from tables. These quakes were happening hourly now as Earth's core destabilized. We launch at dawn, Tai-ho said when the shaking stopped. One final mission to save what's left of humanity. Su-bin looked out the small window at the night sky. Do you think there are any other survivors out there? People we don't know about?